All right, now to give us more perspective on this story, we're being joined by former German ambassador to China and Japan, Dr. Walter Stanzel, is of course joining us on this broadcast live from Berlin. Now, Ambassador Stanzel, thank you very much indeed, sir, for joining us here in WION. Now, issuing nuclear threats is not something that is new. We've heard this many times before from Vladimir Putin in the course of this war. But this latest threat, if one can put it that way, issued by a Russian policy hawk who has the ear of Vladimir Putin, where he says that Russia must carry out a limited nuclear strike on a NATO nation without resulting in an escalation. What do you make of this statement?
Well, this is not a new one. We heard the same person already giving interviews and writing articles with the same message, which did not persuade Putin so far to take that as a serious possibility to continue the war and to carry the war into Europe, Western Europe, and against the United States. I think the reason is that even Putin is still reasonable enough, but more than that, it is the military, the heads of the armed forces in Russia, who weigh very carefully and rationally what is possible, what makes sense for Russia or for not. However, you never can discount the possibility of an irrational reaction. And that is why so far, Western supporters of Ukraine have insisted that Ukraine does not attack places inside Russia, far inside Russia, where this kind of destruction, they would impinge on Russia, would change the security balance, the strategic balance between Russia and NATO countries. At the same time, the supporters, Go ahead, Ambassador. The supporters of Ukraine have also warned Russia against increasing the range of missiles that they use. And now Americans have said that using Shahid drones and missiles bought from Iran by Russia changes again the strategic balance. And that is the reason why now both the Americans and the Dutch and the British talk about permitting the use of Western-supplied missiles against Russia, even deep inside Russia. So we have an increased tension. That is indeed true. And what this person said in this interview is signaling that Russia is taking the seriousness, taking serious the situation as it is. It doesn't show us how it's going to move on. But of course, the landscape has become more ominous.
More ominous, you put it. Now, what is also interesting, something that I hope you can help us decode, the language that has been used by the Russian hawk here, where he says that the United States is lying when it says that it can offer nuclear protection to its NATO allies. Now, the United States of America, of course, has stationed its nuclear weapons on European soil for the protection of its European allies. But are the Russians sensing the presence of the American and its NATO allies slightly differently here?
Yes, I think there is a difference between the way the Russian armed forces and the heads of the armed forces are seeing the situation and this person who gives this interview and wrote articles with the same effect already. Of course, he has to find an argument to persuade Russians not to take the threat of a nuclear attack from the West too serious, because that would create anxiety and fear inside Russia with consequences, maybe even for Putin personally and his place in power, that nobody would want.
Right.
So without discounting what the person said, I still trust the strategic evaluation of the situation that is taking place at NATO headquarters.
My last final quick question to you, Ambassador, is this. Now, the Americans are in fact mulling on supplying Ukraine with more long-range missiles. Do you think giving long-range missiles, does it have any advantage tactically on the battleground? Rather, would it just lead to more escalation, put Russia under threat, where it feels that it now needs to respond, resulting in some kind of a miscalculation?
Well, I would answer yes to both aspects that you name. First of all, of course, by being able to attack energy infrastructure and missile infrastructure, military infrastructure deep inside Russia is an advantage for Ukraine. On the other hand, tensions will increase and Russia will think how to respond to the new threat coming from Ukraine. So the risk is greater now if the United States, the Netherlands, and Britain permit the use of missiles, long-range missiles, deep inside Russia. The risk is greater. At the same time, it is an advantage for Ukraine, which is in an increasingly dangerous situation, as you have outlined in the beginning, with what is Russia now doing in Kursk, in the Kursk area,
Right.
and in the southeast of the country as well.
Absolutely, indeed. Thank you very much, indeed, Ambassador Kurzil, for joining us and getting us those insights there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.